So I want to talk to you about and teach a couple of new terms, which are called pranayam or pranayama and pratyahara. So pranayam is working with the controlling of prana. Yama is to control or to modify and train or entrain, and prana is life energy force. And then Pratyahara is the science and practice of tuning all the senses inward. So we have a saying and an understanding in yoga that the body follows the mind, always. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows the breath. So if you can gain mastery over the breath, it's a big deal. It's a real big deal. So I'm going to teach why it's a big deal, right? So the theme of our class tonight is breathing into life, pranayama and pratyahara. So if you understand the concept that we are both infinite and finite, and pratyahara, that's better. Now you won't be all squinty.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing?
It's all good, bro. So pratyahara is when we're fully aware and we immerse ourselves within our inward divine source, which we call it God. And God, we can break it down to generating, organizing, delivering primal energy force. It's a very spiritual energy. You can apply any connotation of dogma if you choose with God. It's somewhat limiting if you do that, but if that's your choice, then that's your choice. It's fine. So we're going to refer to it as God as a force, right? A beautiful, incredible, divine force. So our inward divine source, God, we're fully aware and immersed with this rather than the experience of the material world outside of us that is brought to us by the mind and the senses. Everything that we engage with out here is all filtered by the mind and your senses and how it's applicable with that. So when you practice pranayama, you expand to infinity, and you, at the same time, you stimulate your own energy. This is important. You grab the impossible and you make it possible. What's pratyahara? It's when you synchronize yourself to zero. So both of these experiences of expansion and shrinking, right? It's an interesting concept because you're moving yourself within this expansion, but you're also at the same time, you're synchronizing yourself into a 0 point. How's that possible? Well, it's bringing the impossible into the possible. This is through these two concepts of pranayama and pratyahara. This is yogic science. So both of these experiences are to be balanced, as they're equally important. And that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight. So bringing yourself into the 0 point is what we call shunya, or the neutrality of the ego. You cannot get rid of the ego. When you hear this, drop the ego, blah, 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 all that. No, that's just effing bullshit. You can't do that. It's impossible. But you can master the ego. You can master the ego through this practice, because when you bring yourself into the neutrality of the ego through pratyahara and pranayama, that's where the ego becomes under your power, your conscious awareness power. And that, in a sense, is where I guess we can drop the ego, or however you want to view it, right?